Hey, what's up there? This is Eric here. I'm a media buyer and creative strategist. And in the next couple of minutes, I'd like to show you my ad strategy of how I got my client $1.5 million in revenue just last month. So let's get straight into it. So whenever we are crafting our creative strategy or looking to launch a new campaign, we are analyzing data. We are doing our research, but not just any research. I'm not talking about, hopping into ChatGPT one time, conducting a deep research, and then maybe crafting 10 creatives, launching those. One of them perform, the other 9 just didn't, and we don't know why, right? We want to have a set foundation in place that we can come back to if something was to break. We're not trying to establish everything from scratch whenever something goes wrong. So what I do with my clients instead is we operate on data. So before we even jump into the creative testing phase, I'm looking at the stuff that you see in purple. So we are identifying all of the different personas that we can target. For example, if you're targeting clinic owners in the US, you could target practice managers, medical doctors, the founder. Those are just 3. But it's important because those 3 have different pains that we need to solve and different market desires that we have to cater towards. Make sense? Second of all, product mapping. What kind of products or offers do we present to the market? 5K offer, 10K offer for 2 months, 3 months. Do we have cross-sell, upsell, downsell, whatever the case might be? Third of all, market desires. As I said, we have different personas. They have different problems. We solve different pain points, and therefore they also have different market desires. Product performance. Fourth, means that it's not necessary if it's a new brand, right? If we don't have data, but it would be very beneficial if we had data on the past offers, past products that we have, and which one performed the best. Let's say for the 5K offer, every time we presented it to the market, we had paid in fulls. Fifth and the sixth point is very, very important when it comes to creating our headlines, our messaging, our copy, whatever the case might be, the awareness level. So let's say, for example, we are targeting the unaware segment, right? So for that audience who are completely unaware, we want to be utilizing, for example, educational style videos, 1 to 2 minutes, where we explain our service, explain our product, because we want to lead them down the line of awareness stages where they are comfortable enough or most aware to make a decision, right? So market sophistication also extremely important. Are we the first ones to offer this product, this service to the industry or to the market? Well, if not, we better utilize some new solutions or introduce new solutions to the market because we want to be more refined, right? So if we are hopping into a new market, which is like completely untouched, we could make any claim and it would somewhat work, right? But if we are in a highly competitive market where prospects have already tried other products or a service, they already know about what's going on. So we have to be different within our strategy or crafting that strategy. So the creative analysis, right? What I like to do, this is the 7th point, is tracking every single creative that we have in Google Sheets. So identifying the winners, the creatives that did not perform, or the creatives that somewhat performed, and attaching the data that we have from the ads manager into that Google Sheet, and then identifying the key points. Why did that certain creative work? Why did that headline work? Why did that combination with the persona and market desire and pain point awareness level work? If we can, somewhat establish a pattern there, then it's much more easier to craft our creatives. So 8th point, trends. After analyzing all that data, after we have the maths down, as I should say, we are taking a look at trends because we want to know how we can capture the most attention. What is the best way to visually present the data that we gathered, right? So that's why it's very important to have a pool of creative assets that we can march towards when launching new creatives, if that makes sense. So after that, if we mapped everything out, we are heading into our creative testing phase, which means we are running a CBO, we are utilizing a broad audience or Advantage Plus, as our targeting will be done primarily by the creatives, especially in the days of Andromeda. Andromeda knows that somebody does not only like sandals, Andromeda knows that I like red beach sandals in Brazil and I have US size 12, right? So that's why we leave everything broad within the targeting. So we have 3 different angles. Let's say, for example, we are selling a chocolate protein bar. We have an angle where we educate gym goers how the protein bar actually affects muscle growth, or we have angle B, for example, where we have a side-by-side comparison between us and the competitor, why we're better. So you get the point. So for these assets, we are looking to spend 3 times the target CPA before actually killing it or optimizing, right? After that, we are asking ourselves, is this angle, is this creative scalable? So we are identifying the winning ads and the angles. And then we are getting into the scaling phase. Also CBO, and this is where 80% of your budget should go. We are starting with $200 to $300 a day, increasing by 10 to 20% every 24 hours until it breaks below break even. We can also introduce a new element because we are taking our new creatives, or the creatives that have worked, and we can run a broad audience, which is already proven, and we can run an interested lookalike audience, and then optimizing from there. So let's say if the lookalike performs best, then obviously we are going to keep that one, and we're going to keep pushing that one until it breaks, right? So then we are heading down to our bottom of funnel, which is going to be our retargeting. But it's also very important to mention that Andromeda wants us to consolidate everything into one ad set, one campaign, because the ads will do the targeting. So Facebook wants us to have a very diverse creative pool, which means they're not iterations. So we have a winning creative, we're just not switching out the background color. So we're making it completely different because we want to cater towards top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel in one campaign. So that's why analyzing also the frequency in the ads manager is also going to be very important, because when we are establishing a perfect, quote unquote, perfect ad funnel, we want to have creatives that are working and bringing in new people into the funnel. And we want to have creatives with more frequency that people see more times, which are, for example, more tangible and more outcome based. There's a guarantee, or you don't pay. You want to have those in place as well, because the top of the funnel creative is bringing the new people, and then the bottom of funnel is converting them. So that's what Andromeda is basically about. But you could argue in some cases that you could separate the bottom of funnel and making a separate campaign for that, just in terms of structure. So our evergreen retargeting is what I like to call it, is I'm including the Facebook engagers, Instagram engagers from the past 30 days, also the website visitors, 30 days, add to cart, initiate checkout 180 days, whenever it's e-commerce, right? As just an example. So we're excluding buyers, leads, retrieving data from the pixel. And if we have a customer list, the very last point, in a CSV file from past customers, we can also exclude those. The DPA retargeting I would do as a separate campaign. Is very much different in terms of everything, so it has to be a separate campaign, to say the least. And this section is most profitable when you go offer heavy. For example, when you buy a cashmere sweater, right? Or when you click on the ad of the cashmere sweater, you check out the page, you add to cart, initiate checkout, but then don't buy. Our catalog dynamic ads will appear, right? So that's what DPA retargeting is about. And yeah, they simply need a reason to take action now and get the purchase. The main takeaway from this is that we want to have a well-oiled machine, a well-oiled infrastructure that we can come back to every single time if something goes wrong or we want to optimize. We don't want to establish the strategy from scratch every single time when something goes wrong. We want to come back to our data. We want to come back to our tracking and make our decisions based on numbers. So yeah, if that was interesting and you're potentially looking to hire a media buyer anytime in the future, then just message me. We could hop on a call and explore the opportunity of us potentially working together.